Not just a hobby, it's a superpower. And today we are unlocking the minds, the moments, and the magic behind every great book on Edo Bookshelf, which is a program designed to showcase the importance and productivity of reading culture at all levels. Because when we read, we don't just absorb facts, we build empathy, strengthen focus, and expand our mental maps. Reading connected to the world we have never seen and to part of ourselves we have never met. Edo Bookshelf, raising and projecting literary giants and informed leaders in our society. Tune in with Oseyande Idede and Chelsea Osho, live on EBS Television.
Good day, viewers. Welcome to the program Edo Bookshelf, reaching you live from EBS TV. Of course, the topic of discourse is the power of storytelling in African literature. Today we'll be reviewing an amazing book, an excited book. It's a sweet book. I know you are aware about the book. It's an old book, actually written by Professor Chinua Achebe. It's titled Things Fall Apart. And I'd like to talk about the themes. Actually, the story revolves around Okonkwo. Okonkwo is actually, can I call him somebody that is quite toxic in nature? He believes in this extreme masculinity because his father, Onoka, was quite someone that is believed to be weak and lazy, is not wealthy, and all of that. So he came up with a different mindset. His philosophy is different. He wants to prove that he is different from his father, that he is strong, and he has this resolute nature in him. And as a result of that, everything he does is always harsh. Even with his family members, his immediate family, he handled them with the tight, strict hands. And he doesn't even care to know whether you feel bad or whatever. He just wants it that way. And as a result of that, things were almost, going out of hands. It got to a point whereby there was a funeral and he wanted to give a gun salute. He actually, misfired and somebody within the community died, and which is supposed to be a taboo. It's actually a taboo in the Igbo land culture. Along the line, he was actually banished. He was sent to his mother's hometown. He spent 7 years. And his son, a very nice boy, friendly, nice, and cool. He wasn't actually happy with his father's behavioral attitude, especially to one boy who was giving to him like a gift for peace, in their clan. And the way he treated that boy, allowed him to just, while away like that. And he was like trying to see how he could convince some person and also talk to the father. But the father was not willing, he was not ready, he was just on his own. He wants to do things in his own way. And guess what? It got to a point and he couldn't do anything. And at a point in time, before he even came back, I think the British colonial administrators and the missionaries, they came to the village, they tried to convert people, and they also succeeded in converting his son to Nonye. But along the line, it got to a point whereby one devout Christian, very strong devout Christian, actually tried to unmask one traditional, is more like a masquerade, very hard in tradition, and war break out. There was violence, and as a result of that, clashes here and there. They were fighting, and it was like there was no more peace like that in the land. And to cut long story short, the British administrators now, they had to summon, that's Okonkwo is coming back, they summoned him, summoned some chiefs and other persons, they fined them, they tortured them, and all of that. And as a result of that, the village people now, they got angry. Out of anger, they want to revenge. They went to burn down the churches, actually constructed by those missionaries, those British, including some of the courts. They also do the same thing. Then it got to a point whereby Okonkwo now was like trying to see what he could do, and we were like thinking maybe his people would try to fight back. When he discovered that his people were not going to fight back, he was thinking, no, you know what happened? Okonkwo had no choice. He had to commit suicide. It's a very tragic story for Okonkwo. I don't know if my co-presenter here with me, Idede, agrees with me, because to me, I think Okonkwo was somehow reasonable in his own approach, because his attitude towards handling things with people around him, even the fact that he has to go do what he did without also listening to some advice, he just took laws into his hand. I don't think that's a very good idea. I know he has pride. Pride also.
Actually, the case of Okonkwo has perfectly captured by our late sage, Professor Chinua Achebe, is a story of two extremes. most times people tell you two wrongs don't make it right.
Yes.
Okonkwo was trying to be the opposite of his father.
Yes.
And where he missed it was taking his belief, his conviction to another extreme.
It was too extreme.
Let's take, for example, his father was not the poorest man that ever lived. And he now, because of his ambition, he overhyped or exaggerated the nature of his father. And because of that, it took him to another extreme. If you find out that ordinarily, weakness, or gentleness rather, is not weakness.
It's not.
And so, because he wanted to be everything his father was not.
Was not, yes.
So anything that his father was a taboo to him. So he didn't want to see anything to make him look like weak. If you remember, if you've seen the story, how he started farming, how he did the first one, there was delayed rain, the yam, everything got spoiled, but he did not want to take no for an answer.
Yeah.
He repeated the process again. That was what an average youth would have given up. That was courage. And then he started life. The very tradition he tried to defend, if you see the way he died, was the same tradition he broke. Yes, now he broke the same tradition at death. That's what I'm talking about, too extreme. Because he failed to create a balance. They told him, this boy have called you father. Don't be involved in his death.
Yeah.
It is not bravery for you to disregard those counsels. Another person can carry it out.
That's why I use the word, he always paid deaf ears.
Yes, I remember when a certain situation was happening in the States. There was a change in government, and the leader of the trade union in this state was from a particular tribe. And the change in government was against his tribe. And so they wanted him, as the head of the trade union, to lead the campaign against his own tribesman. He called me, he told me, you see, I cannot be foolish to call that courage. If you feel that my brother has stolen the mandate and the court has rightly judged him so, let the court carry out. You people can pass justice, but I will not be the one to carry a stick and hit my brother on his head because I want to be seen as the icon of justice. I can't share my own brother's blood. So that's what they were telling Okonkwo, that this boy will still die. But they don't have to die from your own hands and all that. So all those things put together was what culminated into Okonkwo's many problems. And then you fell a victim of the same tradition. They banished you. You came back.
And he could not even learn from that.
You understand? You came back. Everything.
For 7 years to your home mother's town.
Everything has changed.
It's enough for you to reason.
You came back. Everything had changed. And while you were there for 7 years, the community did not so miss you that they now have to send an embassy to you. So let's even shorten this time. Yes. They moved on.
Saying the delegate to visit you, to check on you, if you're still alive,
they moved.
You're still doing fine.
They moved on.
Doing well with you.
That was supposed to be an insight that even if you still die, the community will still move on. And so you still did not learn. You came, you called for war. Nobody answered your beats, your drum for war. You killed a man. That was when it dawned on you that, oh, these people are not really. Yeah. I'm the only one saying things differently, but it was already too late. And then you still decide to give yourself the honor, because to him that was honor, to take his own life instead of him to be imprisoned or to be killed by the white man, which he felt was a bigger insult. So head or tail, the lessons I think we need to learn is not to take extremes. You see, some people today, let's try to contextualize it to our current leadership crisis. You see young people today, they criticize governments, and then you find out that that very thing that they criticize, when given little leadership position, you begin to do that same thing. Why some? Because they want to see as being brave, they throw caution into the air, and you see them insulting leaders, insulting government. And when the table is reversed, they can't even stand half the criticism that they throw at people. So there's a need for us to always look deeply and they see things from a more robust perspective, so that we will not be guilty of the same thing that we are fighting against.
All right, that's a good one. My loving and amazing viewers, you're still on to the program Edo Bookshelf. Stay tuned, we'll be right back soon.
Reading is not just a hobby, it's a superpower. And today we're unlocking the minds, the moments, and the magic behind every great book on Edo Bookshelf, which is a program designed to showcase the importance and productivity of reading culture at all levels. Because when we read, we don't just absorb facts, we build empathy, strengthen focus, and expand our mental maps. Reading connected to the world we have never seen and to part of ourselves we have never met. Edo Bookshelf, raising and projecting literary giants and informed leaders in our society. Tune in with Oseyande Idede and Chelsea.
Welcome back to the program, Edo Bookshelf, reaching you live from EBS TV. Of course, the subject of discourse has been the power of storytelling in African literature. I'm not here alone. Of course, I'm with my co-presenter, Idede. Idede, looking at this book, I'm beginning to think about something. I want to ask this question. For the fact that one of those British missionaries was able to unmask a traditional clan, does it mean that the British religion is stronger than the African traditional religion?
I think, like I said...
it's actually cost the same.
Remember I told you last week that before we're reviewing Arrow of God, that before we start to cry that, oh, they killed our tradition and all that, we must also look inward and ask ourselves, where have we been an accomplice? Where have we given them opportunities to come in and do all these things? Look at the story of Things Fall Apart. Somebody mistakenly killed a community person. They came to beg because they were trying to avoid war. No, not even before what brought Ikemefuna and that virgin girl to the community in the first place. The community came to beg. It was a mistake. So we don't want war. They even volunteer 2 persons.
But did they treat it like a mistake?
They treated that's why they gave them Ikemefuna. They gave them I'm not talking about Okonkwo that killed somebody during the neighboring community that brought Ikemefuna. It was like an appeasement, like a sacrifice.
Yes,
okay, now you take this boy, take this girl, 2 in place of 1.
Which was a gift to Okonkwo's family.
They now give Okonkwo the boy to stay with him and all that. Now, that was a sensible thing to do, to survive. To the living cannot be sacrificed for the dead. Yes. Now, you discover that they now also went ahead again and said one God said the Ikemefuna must still die. So you gave those people coming, those white people coming with their own kind of civilization, an avenue to call your idols stupid. Because how will you have a God that is so interested in sacrificing the living? Like life don't have value. And they discovered that the so-called masquerade we call that was supposed to bring our culture and represent our ancestors. Will your ancestors be so wicked and they see beautiful Chelsea like I carry a whip and I want to start flogging you? That how can your grandfather hate you like that? That he's sending a man to representing the ancestors to be flogging you. So it gives an avenue for the younger generation to say, no, this thing does not make sense. How will our forefathers be flogging us? If you say that is in quote, you're supposed to guide us. You're supposed to preserve us. So that was what gave that man to feel. If you people think this thing is as powerful and is flogging you people, this thing is not ancestors. I know it's somebody that is inside. The white man wanted to unravel the foolishness in quotes of what they were doing, but they have the one. They were the one that have given them the inroad, assuming they have carried that thing with a dignity. And mind you, before it got to that point, we have traditional people that were already Christians.
Sorry, sir. Are you saying that that person carrying the stone was not carrying it with dignity?
No, the point is, from your narration, they already have Christians. Maybe before Okonkwo came back, they already have Christians. So those Christians, those traditional people that are already Christians too, would have gone to tell the white man too that this thing we know it is even my uncle that wore it 2 years ago. And you get my point now. And the white man that is coming with a supreme God in quotes now, have believed that thing cannot do him anything.
That was what he did.
So all the fear they have told you people that's how you will run mad, that's how you will be leprous, or that's why you will start to convulse if you touch this thing or if you see it with your eyes, is not real. And so to actually give those young believers that I told you I'm your pastor, I'm your preacher, let me lead by example. And so with the colonial backup, he dared it. And
okay, so are you saying now that, like you said, he wants to lead by example? So are you not saying that he actually did that so that others can follow suit?
As he touched the way they used to threaten us, like in Uzeba, for example, now when they are doing Obazu in March, they will drive all the female inside and all that. So those kind of players say the woman see this thing will happen. You are threatened us. So now that the white man saw, assuming when the white man touched that masquerade, he turned to a yam.
Yeah. Maybe something else.
Who would have exalted the idol? Say, oh, our idol is really powerful. But nothing happened. We still needed Okonkwo, a human being, to defend our ancestors.
So, okay, now, what's your take now at this juncture? Are you saying now that the British religion is stronger than the
It's not a British religion. What I'm saying is that the African... missionaries. No, what I'm saying is not a British religion. So Christianity did not come from British. That's what I'm saying. So the God that they brought in, it was the power for the gods. He came that he proved that the God he came with was powerful than the God they were manifesting in that place. Because assuming as he had touched it, that he turned to a yam, even the white man would join it to serve that Ogungu or whatever is the name of the idol they were serving. So it was a display of power.
Yes. I agree with you that it was a display of power, but one was more effective.
Yes, we are saying the same thing, that the man that touched ancestor and nothing happened shows that he had a superior power.
Okay, now let me ask you, Dede. For example, if the same story repeats itself now live in Nigeria, let's say, do you think that would still be the same results?
If their idol is not powerful, it will still be the same result. I'm telling you, for example, now, if you go to Uzeba in March, is in a donut in Onwa, or Huse, all those areas, they serve that, they call it Obazu. If you go in March, that's where they always have that festival. If you go as a woman, they will want to intimidate you. In fact, the word they say you enter goats. So they will find you a goat. The boys will chase the goat, and then the owner of the goat will meet you to pay. They don't even need to. It's not as if they will fight to God. They will kill the goat on your behalf. So the point here is this: if you refuse to pay the goat, and then you walk freely, it shows the idol is powerless. But the problem is that they will not allow the idol to fight.
So you're not putting the blame on the people?
Because the idol is powerless. You're not supposed to fight for the idol. You that disregarded the idol, as powerful as they claim it is, was supposed to do you whatever it is. That, a woman, you saw me. For that reason now, whatever would have happened will just start to happen. You don't need another living being to be defending a spirit.
All right, I think I agree with you at this junction. Idede, I have one more question for you. Like, there are still people like Okonkwo out there.
Yes.
There are still people that behave like Okonkwo, with pride and everything, and they feel okay. They see people who, because they are gentle, they are weak, they will still translate the same way that Okonkwo translates. What do you have to tell such people? What advice do you have for such persons?
They will still suffer for it. Like, I'm using Uzeba because I stayed there, I worked there. So, there was a time a pastor was coming from church with his wife during their festival. They smashed his car because they said his wife was not supposed to, this law and all that. The man did not argue with them. He went to the police station, get the police, they arrested them. Because Nigeria law gives us freedom of religion. I do not believe what you are doing. If the idol is powerful, if my wife died in the vehicle because he saw it, it's not me that will cry. It's not me that will bear it. So why would you be helping me to cry for what was supposed to affect me? And those people were arrested. And the case went to court and the man won. So those people that want to see they are foolish like Okonkwo will still suffer the case that Okonkwo went with. You can't be defending a deity. A deity was supposed to be your defense, not you defending a deity. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. You say that the deity was supposed to be the one to defend him. So what do you think that is responsible for the deity not being able to defend its people?
I don't want us to go into religion. It shows it shows
because me, I'm also surprised that the deity could not defend its people. Rather, it's someone that got up to defend the deity. So what's the major factor? What's responsible? Why the deity could not defend its people?
Okay, let me take it two ways. Because people will not tackle me based on what I worship. Two things involved. Is either the people serving the God do not actually know how to manipulate or serve that God, were to bring back out the powers.
Okay, so that means you believe that the deity has the power too.
If the deity does not have the power, the people will not rely on it.
Okay.
So it is either that they don't know, because Daniel, in the book of Daniel, and I'm coming to quote the Bible, say they that know their God. So it means you will have God that you don't know how to serve this God, you don't know how to bring the powers out of this God. So maybe there is a way that they might learn how to serve this God well, to be able to bring back out the powers of this God. Perhaps then they will begin to reverence and revere this God. Is that not the same problem we are having today in Nigeria? People trying to defend their God.
All right, before we draw the curtains close, Dede, what's your parting words for our viewers?
My parting words for our viewers is that I'm a traditional person. If you see my name, no English name there. But however, in our defense of tradition, we should bring humanity. We should do things that make it possible for the next generation to be proud of this tradition. So that we will not give them an excuse to call it fetish, to call it backwardness and all that. So I'm a strong advocate that the places for need for review, we should review it. Places for need where we need to bring sense and package it well, so that the way we travel out and you want to see you go for tourism because you want to see other people's culture and tradition. People should also come and see our culture. They'll see our tradition. They see, oh, why you worship this thing? How do you worship it? And they're not telling us that humans will not be caged because of one deity. It doesn't make sense. And lastly, don't forget that all books inform, just like the one we just reviewed, but only the Bible can transform. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dede, and my amazing viewers. Before I draw the curtains close, I want to let you know that anything worth doing is worth doing well. Like in English, there's a syntactic rule that talks about the rules that govern the structures of language. So you have a value, you have a value that you cherish so much. Try to know about the ethics and do the right thing at the right time. In case you don't know, you are free to ask questions. Asking questions is not a crime. This is Chelsea Osho. I'm your host on Edo Bookshelf, reaching you live from EBS TV. I'll see you again in 7 days' time. God's willing. Thank you for tuning in today.
Reading is not just a hobby, it's a superpower. And today we are unlocking the minds, the moments, and the magic behind every great book on Edo Bookshelf, which is a program designed to showcase the importance and productivity of reading culture at all levels. Because when we read, we don't just absorb facts, we build empathy, strengthen focus, and expand our mental maps. Reading connected to the world we have never seen and to part of ourselves we have never met. Edo Bookshelf, raising and projecting literary giants and informed leaders in our society. Tune in with Oseyande Idede and Chelsea Osho live on EBS Television.